fantastic game of football yesterday. 8-goal thriller in the Premier League. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4. Fantastic game of football. If you look at yesterday's game, almost it was an interesting game. I didn't even remove my eye from that game. 5 goals in the second half, three in the first half. This is why we love the Premier League. This is why we love football. As a neutral, I know everybody enjoyed that game yesterday. Fantastic game of football. Chelsea are going to play the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup today. So we're going to talk about that. And Super Eagles players are making their way to Egypt in Cairo. They are camping. They are starting training for the opening games of the AFCON. Remember, AFCON is starting on the 21st of December. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Vote Sports on Vote 104.3 FM. My name is Gordon. Today we'll talk about the Premier League, Manchester United and Chelsea playing in the Carabao Cup. Good morning, John.
Yes, a phenomenal morning to you, Godwin. Good morning to every fan out there joining us live on YouTube and on radio and streaming on our website. It was a phenomenal game yesterday. 4-4 thriller. Of course, Bruno Fernandes with another goal of the year so far, if you ask me. And fantastic performance all around.
Good morning, also.
Good morning, lovers of football. Another game to talk about. Definitely another banter to throw in the air.
People wake up yesterday.
As they be another banter to throw in the air because we said it before now that if you had won your game and banter those who actually resurrected after losing 5 games, because I won't call it winning, after losing 5 games, you will definitely have the mouth to talk. But again, playing a draw after making so much
noise
and throwing so much banter in the air.
Throwing so much shade.
Let's come back to reality. Team is okay. After I think 10 games goal drought for Semenyo. Back on the score sheet again, which means there's many more to come for the young man. And luckily for Bournemouth, he's not going to the AFCON based on saying Ghana no qualify. So which means they have one African gem in their side to help them through the December and hectic festive period.
Let's see. Remember, guys, you are live on YouTube at Vote FM Sports. You can always go there, drop your comments. We'll be reading your comment live here in the studio. With a fantastic game of football. Nigerian Super Eagles are arriving in camp in Cairo. They are making their way to the camp. Probably let's start with that. But before that, let's talk about the Premier League. The Premier League happened yesterday. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4. It was a fantastic game of football at Old Trafford. At some point, Manchester United even had to switch their formation in the second half before they scored that 2 goals. It was a fantastic game of football all around. Amorim showed his tactical genius a little bit in that game. That's why I keep saying you don't need to just stay in one style. If it's not working, change something a little bit. It might work, and they changed a little bit, and they scored 2 goals in the second half. Even though they considered 2, but it was a fantastic game of football. Manchester United went ahead. Ahmad scored the first goal. They equalized. Bournemouth equalized. They went ahead 2 goals to 1 in the first half. Second half, all the floodgates of goals opened in the second half, and 5 goals entered. Both of them scored 5 goals in the second half.
Fantastic game, fantastic performance. I will still come back and talk about those key fundamentals that we saw lapses in the game yesterday for Manchester United. And also has been shouting it that Manchester United have been playing with only one recognized centre back for the better part of how many weeks right now. They gave you Euro yesterday, Alpha. We still saw the same defensive lapses that we've been seeing ad infinitum. And we are seeing the game yesterday. It was another game where you have to expect more from the team. The headline for the day is an 8-goal thriller, same defensive error, and classical Manchester United. That's the headline. You can go check it out. That's what's out there. But I feel like there are a lot of positives to take from the game. Unfortunately, Manchester United need to do better to close down teams and to close out games.
A fantastic game of football also.
Well, like I said, it's still the same thing. Whether you say they played 5 defenders yesterday, they played 4 defenders yesterday. I think they started the game with a back 4.
The back 3 actually.
If you look at the game properly, you see the Euro playing far wide on the right, which means he was and look what's it called? That was dropping far into the left corner. Which I think if you look at the game properly, you see that they were kind of when we talk about the tactical flexibility, is one thing that Man United or Amorim knows how to do best. We understand.
Amorim doesn't know how to do tactical flexibility.
Again, in this game yesterday,
because he's been adamant about playing in system.
Whether he play 3 in the back, it's not about. I think at some point I was going through the documentaries of Ferguson, and at some point I noticed Ferguson said the system is not the problem. You just have to fix the players. And I noticed Ferguson said it between 1992 and 2004, and he won many trophies within that period. So which means his stubbornness led to him winning trophies. if Amorim's stubbornness can lead him to winning trophies, fine. But again, we're not talking about Ferguson here. We're talking about Amorim. When Ferguson's own was when there was no social media, you only have to go back. You only have to go for interviews.
You cannot use Ferguson
now,
as a case study.
You only have to go for
because
interviews.
Ferguson
sit
was
down.
a manager. Amorim is a coach. He doesn't have any say in who Manchester United signed to the club.
Before you come in as a coach, you need to get the players right first. And first of all, let me finish what I'm saying. And what he said is, I have to be stubborn with the system. The system is not the problem. The formation is not the problem. The players have to make certain runs this way. The players have to play with this certain intensity. You have to do this. 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 These are the things you need to do. Not that the system, or you're playing a back three, you're playing a back four, you're playing a front seven. Doesn't matter. And so when Man United win in that game, they deserve to be far ahead in the first half. With the intensity Amorim wants them to play with, if they are gone with that intensity for the full first half, they would have been scoring like 3 goals. 3 to 4 goals in the first half. But again, they ended the first half with a 2-1 lead. In the second half, they calculated a little and allowing Bournemouth score the 3 goals and getting back into the game. That was another problem for me. Midfield with weak legs. We keep talking about. I talked about it last season. I think 2 seasons ago. Talked about it. Last season talked about it. The average age of the midfield they play. The average of this midfield they play is about 32. Which, if you look at on the opposite side, you had a Tavernier who is probably 24. You have another player, Tyler Adams, who who was pulled out of the game after 3 minutes or 4 minutes. He's 20. The US guy is 20 something. Who came in for him was 22. You have an average age of about 24.
You have no complaints when it comes to average age at Manchester United.
See, I'm just saying they have the legs.
They have just 2 players in that team that are above 30, and that's Casemiro.
I said in the midfield.
I'm talking about, you can't say you have an average age of 32 because you have just 2 players in that team that are above 30. Every other person there is a young one.
Like I said, I'm not saying the average age of the full team. At some point, you used to have Man United have the average age of the youngest team in the Prem.
When Ferguson retired, average age of 30 plus.
30 plus.
It doesn't work that way. I think that in general.
I just mean in this leg, with the substitutions they had, they allowed Bournemouth to grow into the game, and they were outrun in the midfield for this game. You understand me? They were outrun in the midfield for this game in the second half. I think it was just tired legs and all of that in the game.
Tired legs when you play only 1 match a week. That's not an excuse. That's shameful for Manchester United. You can't have the excuse of tired legs when you train 1 full week, recover 1 full week, and then you play 1 game a week against teams. Excuse me, against teams, other teams. If you have the guts to come out and call out Chelsea and badmouth Chelsea and call out Liverpool, Arsenal, these guys are playing an average of 2 to 3 games a week. Bro, you have just 1 game to prepare for a full week. You can't tell me you have tired legs. You can't tell me you have tired legs. Tired legs is not an excuse.
I don't think tired legs is 1 game a week. I think it's proper for Manchester United, and it's good for them. I know we said it last week. Even though that some of the players might not play, last season, even though that some of the players might not play this season, but it's good for them to play organize themselves 1 week. You are not thinking about after 2. For example, Chelsea played on Saturday. I'm playing a game today. I need to think about the players' fitness, think about people is going to play, but Manchester doesn't need to think about those things. You need to just.
What are you doing with the added extra time?
That's what I'm saying.
You could be working in the training. You could be doing recovery for the players. They are not doing anything with that time.
As long as
you never count and finish. Next season now, if you get maybe Conference League now, you will not come and start using it as an excuse that you have more games. You have this season, you have just 1 game a week. What are you doing with 1 game a week?
In the first half, Amad Diallo scored in the 13th minute to get them going. Semedo scored to make the equalizer in the 40th minute. Casemiro scored in the 9 minutes of the first half to make it 2-1. In the second half, everything opened. Edioson scored to make it 2-2, and they scored a free kick to make it 3-2. Then Fernandes scored his own free kick to make it 3-3. Cunha scored again after Isesco was introduced to make it 4-3, and Junior scored the final goal in the 84th minute. It was a fantastic game. That second half was something else. The thing about Amorim in that game, he made a little bit of substitution in the second half. He played a flat 4-4-2, which Manchester United were actually happy about. When I went to social media, everybody was like even if you concede goals, yes. Because I understand that, because when they had to make that substitution, Kobe came into the midfield. It was Kobe and Fernandes. So in quotes, they didn't have a natural number 6 like a defensive midfielder to protect the back line, which is understandable. But they played a back 4, like a 4-4-2. Nguemo joined Cunha in the attack. Nguemo joined Sesko in the attack. Cunha moved to the left. Ahmad was on the right. Bruno and Meno was in the middle. It was a fantastic tactical genius from that second half, and they scored two, even though they couldn't keep the clean sheet, keep up to they consider and that two goals. But if you look at it, I think Amorim should adapt like that. If you are chasing a game, there is no need for you to have a three defender on your team.
It wasn't
Just if you are chasing, I mean, before they started, they were down 3 goals to 2. Before they started making those substitutions, before they scored the 3-3.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Changing your formation, like if you look at the game and trying to introduce more attack, I think it's good for Amorim than just insisting that this is your 3-man.
The bottom line is Godwin. When we talk about this system, it took Amorim almost 6 months to adapt to, and change that playing out from the back to just Bayelu, according to Nonso, send the ball up into the midfield, let them chase the second ball, collect possession and progress. It took him 6 months to do that. Now it's taking him how many more months to just tweak that formation? The bottom line is you can be selfish, you can be insistent on what you want. At the end of the day, if you are not productive, if you are not successful, you will be exited from the job. So you can stick to say this is how you want it, your way or the highway. But the bottom line is, bro, you have nothing to prove. You've not done anything for Manchester United. Even Ten Hag, that received the most hit from any fan base, gave them 2 trophies. Bad as he bad, if you remember all the bad break under Ten Hag, you have 2 silverware to show. And he's in that quarantine training ground. So this guy had better sit up. Manchester United is already down on 1 competition. You have just 2 remaining.
What do you think of that tactic? For example, for me, when they played all those attackers in the game, I think they played better.
Yes. It's clear for everybody to see.
Godwin, about tactical changes and all of that, I don't see anything different from what the game started with and what the game ended with.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I saw.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see anything because
saw.
this same thing you're just seeing now, I've been telling you about it, that in some certain play, they make those switches of formation and all of that. And you said, no, it's still the same thing you saw throughout the game. And I'm like, okay, fine. In this game yesterday, it was the same thing. I told you in the beginning of this conversation that Lenioro played far right with Luke Shaw and the other guy playing middle and Dalot playing as a left back in this game, which allows progressive. Then when they switch, it's the same thing he's playing. When they go on the offensive, it changes like this. It depends on how they are going. Either it changes like this or it changes like this. Either you're attacking from this side where the left back or the wing back progresses more. And this fullback on this side is tracking back to defend.
Or make up the back three now.
Make up the back three. Or is going from this way and this wing back is coming back. You get, but with Patrick Dogu or the rest of them, Patrick Dogu doesn't remember to come back when this side is progressive. That's why you feel like when they make it back three, the back three is always exposed. Patrick Dogu doesn't track back when the offensive is going on the other side. So it's the same thing. Now he's playing Dalot, which means Dalot understands the assignment. Whenever we are progressing on this side, far on this side, please track back so we don't get exposed in the back three. And again, when you play a back three system, you have that extra man in defense going forward to the midfield. So indirectly, you have indirectly have a back four automatically because one person in midfield or defense is going to the midfield, while the midfielders are progressive more. That's why I see Bruno progress more, and one person in his position in midfield there. So I've been seeing this for a very long time. I think it's okay, but again, the players need to work on their intensity for 90 minutes. That's just all. We saw this intensity in the Europa League. Why have we not seen this in the Premier League?
Another thing with this thing is that Amorim needs to be the one driving this intensity. If you remember the All or Nothing documentary with Arsenal, you saw him from day one shout about intensity, talking about Mikel Arteta, shout about going for those deals, talk about all those things. If you are not ready to fight bench players, sit somebody out for not giving you that intent, bro, you will not get it from these guys. You will not get, because nobody is giving me the vibe like, I don't know, if you see Lewis Kelly play for Arsenal, the energy he brings to the game, the zeal he brings to the game. I'm not seeing that from anybody at Manchester United right now.
I think in this game, I think they played well in this game, even though that Bournemouth is not really a pushover this season too. But Manchester United, for me, if you play more attacking football, I think they will win more games. If you ask me, especially when they play at Old Trafford. But Amorim is going to decide. He said it in his press conference that at some point he might be switching formation in games. So, but we'll see. It happened.
It just seems like the players are beginning to get the intensity right.
It just takes common sense for you to change, especially when you are chasing a game, you're chasing a goal, to introduce more attackers and remove more defender. It's just common sense. If you are defending, you can introduce back your defender, just like Mikel Arteta used to do. If he's defending, he puts in a defender to show up, maybe one goal lead or whatever. If he's chasing again, he introduce all the strikers and move Rice back or something like that. But let's see, it was a fantastic game of football. A lot of things happened in that yesterday's football. Total number of shots in that game was 36 shots in total. That's highest
Record
this season.
numbers.
Yes, that's highest this season. 36 shots in total. Manchester United had 24 shots in total. 9 of them were on target. They had 56% possession and 375 passes. 84 of them were accurate. For Bournemouth, they had 12 shots in total, 9 on target, 44% possession and 244 passes, and 67 of them were accurate. So fantastic game of football yesterday. I like this kind. If you're a neutral, you go enjoy.
You enjoy the
Yeah,
game.
you enjoy yesterday's game. You go happy. You go happy. So fantastic game for Amorim. Even though that he drew that game, but it was still a fantastic game of football. So if you look at Manchester United, they have now 1 more point. They are 6th on the table with 26 points.
2 points behind Chelsea.
Yeah, 2 points behind Chelsea. Then Bournemouth have 21 points in 13th position, just a couple of points behind.
One other point I want to bring here, because another breakdown of the analysis of the game yesterday. Manchester United played far more forward passes. First time in history. Yesterday.
It's not first time.
145 as against 59 backward. If you play 400 passes and it's split 200, it's even. You didn't play a greater number
they've
of
always
forward
played
passes.
more forward passes, but the thing is, the margin is not that much.
Yes, the margin in this game was
because
much.
these people defend now.
Now the intensity now we dey talk about now. No be say you go hold ball, you go pass, go wing, and winger go go forward, turn, come back.
Nobody make runs.
It don't make sense.
Makes sense. When Sesko enter too, is widen that attack. That's why it's good to have more attack. And Mbeumo and Sesko was playing in that attack. It made sense to me. But it was a fantastic game of football. Okay, Amorim after the game yesterday was talking about to the press conference. And he's talking about Manchester United defense, that they need to improve. Obviously, they need to improve, even though they were missing the lead. And the problem you will have again is Ahmad and Mbeumo is going to leave for AFCON immediately after that game. So this morning they are going to land in Egypt for that AFCON. So they are going to play without these 2 players for 1 month. So they have to manage and find a way to
Sesko is back. Sesko is back. So Mbeumo for Sesko.
Sesko is back. Sesko is back. No worry.
No worry. More options on the
bench.
They have
Shilesi.
They have Shilesi. They have JJ Gabriel. Look at the cup boys. Boys now boys now ball.
We will see the result now.
So he said that he will try and find a way to score goals in different ways. So I understand it's going to be tough for him in this particular one. Losing Ahmad that scored the first goal and Mbeumo that has been scoring goals for him. Both of them were going to play for Ivory Coast and Cameroon respectively.
Cameroon go come up for
one of their defenders is still going to go Mazraoui.
They don't really go. They have concerns. That one never allow them delay flight. It don't run. They come hang down on a bench. Make I train with the boys so that go start.
It makes sense that Mazraoui will go back because they have Dalot that will play in his position. But for the attack position, they have a problem. Imagine that Ahmad and Mbeumo no dey this game. Who come play Nazeski? So
attack still dey Nazeski, Sesko.
So, but let's see how they are going to manage in the next 1 month for Manchester United. They are going to lose Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Mbeumo to the AFCON. So let's see. Okay, other games that happened everywhere, other place in Europe and in the Serie A. Roma beat Como 1-0 in that game.
Another for hard-fought win.
Yes, hard-fought.
They fight there. Serie A, but again, I just have to give kudos to one player in that game. Mancini. Not one, 2 players from both sides. Mancini for Roma and my guy on the other side, Nico Paz. Because that game he created a lot of chances. I just feel like Mancini was just there to stop every pass before he gets to the defense. Before he gets to the goalkeeper or gets to the striker, Mancini was just there to stop everything. And Nico Paz, please, find better club, go. That Como is not your size of club. You are too intelligent for that club.
Who know him before?
Now that guy is too good.
Nobody know him before.
Even whether before or not, as academy graduates, it go take before. I think when I said this earlier, I think I wasn't sleeping when I said it earlier. I said Como kind of gathered the young, I think some of the best young players around that people didn't really know about, and they are doing fantastic in the Serie A.
Okay, in the Serie A, Roma won that game 1-0 to me. If you look at the table in the Serie A, Inter Milan are first with 33 points. AC Milan are second with 32 points. Napoli are third with 31 points. The Roma that won yesterday had 30 points. The top 4 is just separated with just 3 points. Yeah. It's going to be a title race. Napoli lost at the weekend. Inter won. AC Milan drew that game. So, but who will think they go win this area?
You have to give Inter preference.
Kibu, see,
sorry.
Give
him their flowers.
I apologize for all I have said. Because, come on, this is a man that I came into the side, and I feel like he's changed a lot of teams. I understand the fact that he has to bring in a lot of young players into his side. He had to change a couple of players, the play pattern. Though the same formation, but he had to change a couple of play pattern. DiMarco was dropped to the bench, and I was furious with it. But again, gradually the team has built. Gradually, you could see a game without Dr. Martinez, and you'd be like, why? And all of a sudden, the person who is there is scoring
He's
the
doing
goals.
the job.
He's doing the job. I was afraid and I was angry to the point because you have players you've seen all your life do great, do not even well. They've done great things with the club, and all of a sudden you're throwing them to the bench just to experiment with some young players. Now you might say it's not what you expected, but sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
but for
that's
this
the
Kivu
thing.
side, for this Inter Milan side, it's working so far. I was so in a hurry to judge the end. And even if it's not going to be easy for him to win this trophy, because this trophy is still far, we're not even halfway there
It's
yet.
still a long race.
We're not halfway there. We're still in game week 15, and halfway there is about game week 19 or so. So we still have 38 games to go, or perhaps 23. So in 23 games, you have to see how they grow as a team. But again, he's done something I didn't expect in a short while for Inter Milan. Kivu, you try.
So who's going to win this league? Inter, AC,
I know they talk with the win league.
Napoli, or
It's still too early to call.
If you ask me who win league,
it's still too early
it's
to
between.
call.
If you ask me who win league, it's between Allegri and Kivu.
I don't
And
think Allegri
Conte.
will get it this time around.
And
I think it's still Conte.
See, you know, the experience of the manager and the things I saw him do with AC Milan when he came in, I was in a rush to say he's going to get it. He signed a couple of great players, Modric and the rest of them, and again beating Napoli, showing class above Napoli in that midfield domination in that game was okay. But again, the way he makes the players train, I went through the training clip of AC Milan when Allegri signed up, and I know why Chukwu is a run, because you go run tire, and if you look at that, it doesn't just train with high intensity; it translates on the field of play. Which means you come to field, you train, you run harder, you go to the match, within 90 minutes, you run as well. So it was kind of, I saw this thing in their training ground, and I'm seeing it in the matches they play. So that's why I'm looking at Allegri in one way, in one light. So between Kivu of Inter Milan and Allegri, I'm not going to, after all, when I said this about Roma, I said Gasperini is doing well with Roma, but again, it's just initial.
So the defending champions no follow.
The defending champions go contest.
Defending champions know how they use win this Serie A last season. They know how they use win now. They know winner. It wasn't just like Liverpool for last season. It wasn't a convincing. They know how they use winner. There was something this guy said yesterday that even in Liverpool's run to the Prem last season, they never had a 9-game winning streak.
Yeah. They never
had. So even this Napoli are talking about, Napoli came in just off the back of one loss Inter Milan had, and they picked up a win. They had that 1 point gap, and they maintained it for the last 3 games of the season and got the title. So I think it's still going to, like Noto said, between AC, Inter, Napoli.
Okay, let's see who's going to win that series.
I like God Juventus, so but they form a hand
Big
time. They form a hand big time. Juventus they form a hand big time, but again, it's between these 3 managers.
Okay, let's talk about the Carabao Cup. The Carabao Cup will happen today. Cardiff will play Chelsea, and today 9 p.m. Chelsea should be winning this game, obviously.
Yes, should be winning, but let's see how it's going to go. We never know. Like I say, for Chelsea, until I see starting lineup, I go know whether they are serious or not, because they have a thinker in their side. Now wetin man you talk say na Grimsby na. How far we know the story after that?
Some teams just want to get their hands on the trophy.
Some teams just want a scalp.
See, some teams just want to get their hands on the trophy, be it the Carabao Cup also. Look at Cardiff's record. I think the way they meet teams, it's not going to be easy for them to come against Chelsea and come out top. Okay. But again, it's up to Maresca to see if he can build a team that without the main star. Because we've been talking about this thing. I was one of the people that said without Kopama, Chelsea is okay. But bro, I saw it firsthand that without Kopama, they are nothing.
Okay, let's see what happens with that game against Chelsea. But Chelsea should be winning this game. No need to predict.
They should be winning.
They should be winning. Arsenal supposed to play a game today in the quarterfinal against Crystal Palace, but it has been moved to next week because Crystal Palace has a game on Thursday in the conference. They say they cannot play Saturday, play Tuesday, and play Thursday. So that game has been moved. So other quarterfinals will happen tomorrow. Man City will play tomorrow and all. But the Arsenal quarterfinal will happen next week, Wednesday, because of the engagement of Crystal Palace they have
on the 23rd.
Yes, they have an engagement on Thursday in the conference league, so Arsenal will not play their own quarter-final game this week. So Arsenal has 1 week to rest for a very, very long time. Have 1 week to rest to probably fight for themselves next week to refresh themselves after they have struggled in a couple of weeks. Okay, let's talk about the Super Eagles. The Super Eagles have players have arrived in camp. We have a test game today. The test game is going to be Egypt versus Nigeria. It's a test match. You know, they trained yesterday night. Because of this game, they'll train again, probably a light training this morning before they play that game around 7 p.m. It's going to be Nigeria versus Egypt in that. They called it a test match. It's just like one more match.
It's a
So it's a warm-up game
for the
yeah,
AFCON.
warm-up game.
And again, it's not a far distance from Morocco where they will play the AFCON.
All of them are in training. Okay, but the players that have arrived in camp is Uzo, who has arrived in camp. Sterling Nwabali is in bank. He go first.
The second division Israeli league when they play, the one they do for them. Okay. He go first arrive.
Nwabali is there. Nwabali is there. Dele Bashiru is in the camp. Akin Somiro has arrived in camp. He's going to make his debut for Nigeria. Amas Obaseki is here. Semi Ajayi is here. Lukman is here. Bright Osaye Samuel has arrived in camp. Igor Abo is here. Tochukwu Nnamdi is here. Raphael Onyedika Sanisu is here. Anuachu is in camp. Frank Onyeka is in camp. Calvin Bassi arrived yesterday. Alex Iwobi too arrived yesterday. Wilfred Ndidi is here in camp. Onyemaechi is in camp. Serial Dresser, Adam scored at the weekend. And Chidera Ejuke all is in camp. Osime have probably arrived this morning to join them in the training. He has arrived already, but I think he picked up a knock too, so they are managing him. Okay, but these players have arrived. So we are waiting to see what the test game. This test game, not just test game now. We'll just see. We'll just test something.
There's nothing like test game.
It's just like playing a team together to prepare the team for the main competition. But again, it's another opportunity to tell them, say, so that they will not contest for the trophy with you. It's one thing, they say if you miss the bottom, that's one thing we train our young ones to be when we play modern football. But again, some players arriving in camp. I think Bassi and Oyobi first branch somewhere to pick up the ball that Bassi, the ball he kicked away, the ball we play for against Burnley. That ball we play, they go find her first, they go pick her first before they come training ground, which is okay for them because come on, that run from Bassi in the weekend kind of shows the intensity of the young man. And I hope it translates. I keep saying it. I just hope this performance translates to Super Eagles. But again, playing against an Egyptian team who their captain Mohamedou is a top player. The second captain, the Trezeguet guy, he played for Aston Villa, was a top player for Aston Villa. He's one of the best players I've seen. Though he's not that great, but he's one of the best players I've seen play from the flank when he plays for Aston Villa. The king, Egyptian king, is somebody to look out for. The Egyptian prince, Omar Mamouche, is another person. So you just have different attacking options in the Egyptian side, and defense is still a question. And let me finish. We have a lot of attacking options in the Egyptian side, and a defensive question mark on the Nigerian side.
If you look at these attackers now, Chukwueze is on form.
Chukwueze is on fire.
He might start even having assists in the Premier League. I have Lukman, I have this striker. What do you think you should play? 3 at the back. Our coach. Let's talk about our coach because this is a game that will show us what we will see in the AFCON. The formation we is going to play. How is the team going to look like? Even though that they just trained just one training before this game, but if you look at it, you should go all out attack. They play, before the final weeks of the World Cup qualifier, he was playing 2 strikers. In the final game, he played only 1 striker, which Nigeria criticized him because 2 was working in the past couple of games. He changed it to 1. But what are you expecting to play in this one?
I'm expecting him to go with what works. The problem is that some people are too ADHD to be successful in life, which means that if you play one style, the next time you want to play, you want to change everything all over again. You cannot sustain. Success requires boring, repetitive work. And sometimes some of these guys want to like the tinkerer we spoke about and the gambler. So the bottom line is we had that problem in that game because he changed the pattern. If it's working, if it's not broken, don't fix it, bro. Simple. If you come out and you see that these guys you are playing, they are going to use that your pattern against you. You can tweak for that particular game, but that doesn't mean that you come and reinvent the wheel every time you come out to play. For me, coming into this game, I just need to be honest. I do not have faith in our defense. With my guy out and the other guy retired, that defense, I don't know. So prove me wrong, Super Eagles. But you see our attack, I don't care who is in that attack. Akko Adams has to start and Chukwueze has to start for me. QED.
Okay.
Akko Adams and Chukwueze. Wow. Well, good players in general. But again, I want to see high intensity midfield. That's where you win the game against Egypt. Players who can track back and track forward. Players who can run forward and track back as fast as they can. Rafael Ndekachi should be starting in that game. If the Bashiru brothers are available, let them play.
Now, one of them came.
Now, if the like I said, I don't know if it's Fisayo that is available or Busola. If it's Fisayo that is available, I would prefer that option. But if it's Busola, it's the day, but it's the day.
I think it's Fisayo.
If Fisayo that came.
So I'll prefer Fisayo playing. That's why I said if it's Fisayo, I'll prefer it. But the Bashiru brothers are just that good. But again, I'll prefer a Rafael Ndekachi starting ahead of Frank Onyeka. I want dominance in midfield. I want players who would hold on to the possession and not lose it.
As Onyeka and Wilfred Ndidi, right?
Rafael Ndeka and Wilfred Ndidi. I want players that will hold on to possession and not lose it when we are winning the game and also defend. I'll bring in the Frank Onyeka because you can say he's good on the ball. It makes the passes right. He makes decisive passes forward. He does this. He does that. But he doesn't have the legs to run. I've seen him play for Bournemouth. I've seen him play for Osborg. I said Bournemouth and Brentford. I saw him play for Osborg when he went on loan to Germany. I've seen him play a couple of years. He's a good player on the ball. He's like Busquets. He cannot make those runs, and his ball recovery is kind of poor. So I'll look at that option and say, okay, fine, you could play, but not play the 90 minutes. But when we are losing the game, or perhaps when we get the win and want to hold on to possession, we want to play the Liverpool kind of football, hold on to possession and not allow them get the ball. The ball. You come in, you Ndidi, Wilfred, what's it called now? This is my man up front, Alex Iwobi. I would rather say put him on the bench and play somebody.
An extra person that will cover the defense.
It will be just arrived, so I don't think they are.
I'm just saying.
15 players that arrived first. They should just.
Got it. I'm just saying this is what works for the Super Eagles. If you're going to play against these Egyptians, if you see Egypt play, then the whole possession well. You need to play players that will run and collect the ball from them, that will pressure them to making the wrong passes. And I feel like Fisayo and Rafael Ndekachi are that person. I don't even trust Yusuf to do that.
I'm also looking at some of the new characters that are coming into the team. We need to give them time.
The new characters are moving in attack. Yes. The new characters are in attack.
We need to give them time to show us what they have.
I think I think he should play. Let's see what he could do. And some of these players, they arrived early in camp, so I think it's just a test run. And let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting game today against Egypt. I don't think that most of the star players will play. Everybody don't want to pick up injuries. For example, Simeon is not going to play. He's not available for Nigeria. Simeon might not play. Chukwueze will not play too. So a lot of players have not made it to the camp. But let's see. The training, all of them will be arrived today. Everybody will arrive today. But let's see what happened in that game. But let's just get the operation for that game. Not be like say, now even if we lose, no matter. It no matter. The main thing is the main tournament.
It matter, please.
Say bragging rights follow.
I'm bragging rights follow.
Mentality.
That's why I say you can call it a test game, but we have teams according to Igwe Chelsea and Ed. So we cannot come and call this Egypt game like a test game. It's not a test game for me. And then secondly, if we have intentions of progressing in this tournament and probably winning, it's not a test game for us because we need to be able to test the marks of their strength. Like they will say in Mortal Kombat, test your might. You know where you know where you need to level up in order to defeat these guys when the tournament starts. So you need to just take this game very serious.
So we'll just win now.
Yes.
You know, say if we win, nobody I say go win the tournament. You know?
I know now, but
God, that's wicked, man.
Godwin.
That's wicked. Say you win friendly, we qualify.
Don't let me wax lyrical on you. Aspire to require to Maguire.
See, I understand that the Egyptian side is tough. We need to win this game. But again, I don't mind if we settle for a draw.
I can never settle for
again,
a draw.
Let's have the mentality of we will never lose. I think that was the mentality Man United has had in recent games.
How is that mentality helping you? I won't lose. How far?
If you know you won't lose, you play to win. Then if you will get a draw, you just settle for it and be like, okay, fine, since it's a draw, you just You play to win. Then when you end up with a draw, you'll be like, okay, it's okay for me. But again, you just have to play to win. And I think that's what Super Eagles should be going for. But if they play a draw, I'll be okay. But if they lose this game, I'll be very, very disappointed.
Wilfred Ndidi has been officially named the captain of the Super Eagles for the 2025 AFCON. So congratulations to him. He's going to take over the captain armband after Ekong retired from internet. I don't know why he retired, but he retired.
You go and prove that.
After retired from international games. So Ndidi is going to lead the boys to this AFCON. The hashtag for this one is Nigeria for the win, and let's do it again hashtag. So let's hope that we're going to do it again. The again is that we reach the finals of the last AFCON. So let's do it again.
Do one better.
And Nigeria for the win. That's hashtag for Nigeria Super Eagles in this AFCON. Hopefully after today's test, they are going to do well and see where it's going to take us. But if you look at this competition in general, do you think that we can actually reach the finals? Let's start with that one.
Forget about whether we can reach the final. Okay. The bottom line is we need to raise our floor.
Okay.
When you come to this competition and you're like, let's see how far we can go, it's not enough. You need big, hairy goals to ginger you to move forward. And in this scenario, it has to be the finals. If we finish in the semis, it don't make sense. We've done better. We should not be coming down. We should be going up. So let's maintain our
You sound like
record.
a motivational speaker.
I'm not motivating anybody. I'm just telling you that. See, winners win, and winners do not expect anything else other than win. It's better you have the goal that you are going for the win, and you don't win it than you say you are going to receive whatever life give you. In a group stage.
Okay, now let me start from the teams that are available. I usually assess my opposition before I talk about the results. You get. I look at it yesterday. We talk about Man United. I told you about the flaws that Man United has and what Bournemouth can hurt them from. Now, when I want to look at the opposition is in other groups you have teams like Morocco, you have teams like Egypt, you have teams like Senegal, you have teams like Algeria. Thank God Ghana no qualify. You have teams like South Africa. These are top big countries. These are top teams. These are not just anyhow teams. These are teams that even if they say this year we don't want scout players from abroad, you want to collect from homes, they will still generate at least 25 top players because their leagues are functioning. We've seen it in the South African team. I think in the past two competitions they played, they only have one player who's from the Prem. Just one player who's from the Prem, and one other player who's played in the Prem, played in the Egyptian league and all of that. But most of the players are started from homegrown teams. You have Mamelodi Sundowns, Kazan Chiefs, and all of that feeding the team. So with their leagues functioning like this, and they have great players in both home and abroad, we have great exports. I have to give it that. We have the best exports in African football. But when it comes to playing for the badge, we don't have that.
Okay, let's see what Nigeria will finish in this AFCON. Nigerians are 3-time winners of this competition. In 1980, they won that tournament in 1980 in Nigeria. We hosted that one and we won in 1980. In 1994 in Tunisia, we are champions, and in 2003 in South Africa, we are champions in South Africa in 2013. So fantastic for Nigerians. But in the other tournament in 2015, Equatorial Guinea, we did not even qualify for that tournament. The next competition in 2017, we did not qualify. In 2019 in Egypt, we finished third. In 2021 in Cameroon, we finished round of 16. We are knocked out. Okay, we finished 9. We are knocked. Okay, in Egypt we finished third, and in Cameroon we finished 9th. We knocked out of the round of 16. But in the 2023 Ivory Coast, we finished second. We reached the finals. But let's see if we can do one more better for the Super Eagles. If we can win this one for us, I think we can win. Sunday it will start.
I think our group is a winnable group.
We play to this Tanzania in the first game.
Tanzania, Uganda, Tunisia.
It's apart from Tunisia, every other.
Tunisia self no get team. That be the team. When they call the tough opponent, I don't call them joy.
Okay. No problem. Let's take phone calls. Number to call is 0706-048-5853. Call us and talk about the Manchester United game or the Nigerian Super Eagles game today. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Okay.
Prince, how far market? How you doing, Prince? How are you?
Banta be unto you.
That one.
This high intensity for every match.
Yeah.
Because it was their match. First time.
Hello. Okay. We can't hear you again. 0706 048 5853. Call us and talk about the Manchester United or our friendly game against Nigeria today. But I think the Nigerian Super Eagles, personally, I think that we're supposed to do well. Supposed to do well and win these games. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, 0706 048 5853, or you could call 0915 570 8347. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm in a kind of noise.
No problem, no problem.
I'll try and keep more.
Okay, name and location, please. Yeah,
Good
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 morning.
morning.
Yeah, it's Bishop.
Okay, your contribution.
I think, how can you, was you not just too clean for once?
Mhm.
Was you try to consider? Anyways, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see what the Glazers family and the Miraculous and other engineers try to support this Ruben Amorim, because the man is really, we are really sort of high end of that. That's the man up, I'm telling you. So many first legs really need to leave that United team, and so many first legs. We really need first legs in that United
All right.
team, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
You just need to let some players let go and getting more first legs, I'm telling you.
All right, thank you very much.
You know, this talent and all of them, not going to use, next for probably will take off.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Manchester United played an entertaining game yesterday. 8 goals thriller against Bournemouth. But let's see how they are going to finish this season. This season, Nigeria is going to play a test game, a friendly game against Egypt today. Hopefully, they will do us proud. Chelsea is going to play a Carabao Cup today too. So all games will happen today. But let's see. Tomorrow we'll come back and talk about all these games. Thank you for joining us on today's game. Thank you for being part of Volt FM Sports family, and thank you for being part of Volt FM family in general. Remember, guys, we are live on YouTube at Volt FM Sports, and we are live on Radio Garden too. Just go to Radio Garden app, type Volt FM. We are always live there, and we are streaming on our website at www.volt1043fm.com. We are everywhere. Thank you for being part of this family. Merry Christmas in advance. It's about 9 days to Christmas, right?
On the 9th day of Christmas.
Merry
Christmas
Christmas in advance. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. My name is Godwin. Have a wonderful day.